Okay, now I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that because I accidentally stopped the video instead of pausing it, so we'll see. So all of that week it kept going. I researched psychogenic seizures, and it really just did not connect with what I was experiencing. Plus, additionally, like all of the examples of why you would be having a conversion disorder, I'd experienced none of that. I had a great childhood. I had an awesome childhood. My parents are rock stars, literally. No, not literally, but they're super awesome. Never been, beaten, never been physically abused, never been sexually abused, nothing like that in my whole life. I've had a pretty boring, great life. So, it just didn't match up, and the symptoms weren't matching up with what I was experiencing. So finally, after like a week, I posted to my Christian mom group, and the lady said it looked like Tourette's. And so I looked up Tourette's, and a lot of it started, what? Sorry. A lot of it started making sense with what I was experiencing and some stuff in my childhood. But I never actually had tics, as far as I can remember. And I have thought about this a lot. I cannot think of any tics that I had growing up. I don't remember this being a thing growing up at all. And you would think I would have noticed at some point. Even though I was a really rough and tumble. I mean, I spent most of my childhood outdoors. I was homeschooled, so I frequently did my school outside, actually. Yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time indoors at all. So it could just be that maybe I didn't notice, but you would have thought that at some point I would have picked up on that. So I've never, that I know, I never experienced any tics in childhood. So that was kind of throwing me off. Plus the whole, it's sometimes here and sometimes not thing. So those were kind of my hang-ups on the Tourette's idea. But anyway, I decided one day that I should try. I got this idea, and I don't even know how I got this idea, but I got this idea that I should try moving all of the shaking that was going on in my neck and see if I could move it somewhere else in my body. So I started shaking my hand, and when I started shaking my hand, it was just like a complete tic explosion. And I mean, I was running back and forth in my house, jumping up and down, turning in circles, kicking things, shaking my arms, twiddling my fingers, facial tics all over the place, head tics. I can't remember if I was squeaking at that point or not. That might have been a day or two after that. But just a whole range of stuff came out all at once. And when that happened, one, my neck stopped shaking, which was a huge relief, and felt so much better to not have that going on constantly after a week of it. But two, the tic fulfillment feeling happened for me. Because this whole time, and when this happened the first time also, the whole time it was almost like a really bad stomach ache. And it just would not go away. And when I finally figured out like what my body wanted, the stomach like clenched up feeling went away, for the most part, which was also a huge relief. What? I'm not talking to anybody. There's nobody in here that I'm screaming what at, just so you know. Although I have been known to say that to my children, which is probably why it's turned into a tic. I don't know. Anyway, so that was a huge relief. I went through a whole range of different tics. Never any words except for maybe hey. I think hey was something I said. But mostly just like grunts or squeaks. I had barking for a little while, which was so annoying. Whistling. But I've never said any like sentences. And I think up until this year, I haven't really said any words other than hey. which has changed, but I'll get to that later. So I went back to that same neurologist a month later for my follow-up appointment and was like, I researched this, I looked through everything, I tried to think of stuff, and I really don't think that's what it is. But all this other stuff has been happening since I figured out how to express this stuff. And he said, oh, well, you have an iron deficiency, so you go take some iron supplements and come back in a month. I did not ever go back. And now maybe you can see why I don't put a lot of stock in neurologists. And I'm sure there are some great ones out there, but my experience was not so stellar. But the same thing happened that year. After 3 or 4 months, we got into late winter, early spring, and it started to die off. Like, I was still having some tics, but a lot of them started to fall away until it was gone, as far as I could tell. We had our baby. She was fine, thank goodness. I didn't scramble her brains. Developmentally, she's great. She's 21 months old, and she just potty trained herself. She potty trained herself, people. I didn't have anything to do with it. She decided that's what she wanted to do. So she's fine. It had died away, and everything was great. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but all right, I'll go with it. We'll roll with it. So then, ticky spells here and there throughout the year, but not really much of anything. And then late fall, early winter of 2015, it comes back again. I don't know. I don't know. So, and the same story again, lasted all winter into late winter, early spring, died away again. I still had ticky, twitchy stuff on occasion, but it was pretty much gone. What? Ah! So, this year, I had 2 different episodes that were about 3 or 4 days long, in September, actually, which was a little odd. But then I didn't have anything until mid-December, which was pretty, I would call it unusual as far as my life goes. But mid-December, here it is again. It's not mid-December anymore. It's the end of December. But mid-December, it came back. I felt it coming on, and I didn't try to keep it from happening this time. I just let it do its thing. So I didn't deal with, the crazy intense issues that I had the first time it came back. But here it is. I have had some really bad episodes where I have to just lie down on the floor, or I'm going to literally fall down and just shake violently, and it's not fun. But I've had a bunch of different tics already. They tend to it bursts on the scene. It's pretty intense for a couple weeks to a month, and then it starts to slowly dwindle. So we'll see if it follows its normal course. I haven't been to see a neurologist since the iron supplement guide 2 years ago. Like I said, I don't put a lot of stock into them. I'd love to find one who I felt like was actually listening to me, but trying to find one sounds super overwhelming. But yeah, it's very frustrating to not really be able to tell people what's going on. If I had, a diagnosis, I could be like, oh, well, sorry, I can't help it, I have Tourette's. What? It's so annoying. But I haven't been diagnosed. I don't know that I could ever be, since it's seasonal Tourette's. What the heck? Who has seasonal Tourette's? What? What? So that's where I am. That's pretty much the whole story. Happy New Year. Ow, ow. Yeah, I think that's it. That's my story. I have some more videos coming up with some different things. But until then, we'll see you later.